The film begins in Berlin, the capital of Germany, with a young man named Binman, who is talking on the phone and is very nervous. He enters his room in the hotel and finds all the people in it dead. He surrenders himself to the police and there he tells about his story and how it started and tells with 2 stars about himself as a child that he thought he had superpower. But in fact he was a hidden person and no one talks to him, but he says that he thought that this is a superpower in itself, and he tells with 2 stars that his story is very tragic. Because a father abandoned him when he was born and his mother committed suicide when he was 8 years old and lived with his grandmother who took care of him when he was young and he is the one who takes care of him now when he grew up. And he says that from here the story of a superhero began with a work that discovered his ability in the world of computers and for the first time he feels that he is doing something perfectly and calls himself who I am. And he remembers his memories when he was working as a pizza delivery worker in his funny clothes and says that in a world programming had one friend with whom he enjoys until he discovers the world of the deep web and feels that he is part of a community that resembles and respects him, unlike the community that rejects it. 2 stars have one role model in the world of the deep web, which is XSM, who cannot reveal his identity. 2 stars spoke about the first once decided to he transfers his virtual activity to the ground and tells the investigator that in your day he was delivering pizza to the office where Marie was in which he admires. And he hears his friends saying that she needs someone to bring her exams to succeed. They saw Maori friends with 2 stars and started laughing at him except Marie treated him kindly. It was decided to infiltrate the university to get exams for Marie's sake. The main server was hacked and the exam was stolen, but he was soon arrested due to his lack of experience and a light punishment follows. Which is to participate in a social currency to clean the gardens, and there he meets a person named Max who provoked him to tell them the reason for his punishment, and he tells him with 2 stars, he infiltrated the main corridor of the university. Max asked him if he knows how to read the language of machines. He told him yes and easily. They were invited to a party. They meet there. They introduce Max to his friends, but they do not believe the Emirates that has 2 stars, and they ask him to show them their skills in less than 3 minutes. He can cut off the electricity in the whole place and Max's friends believe him and be happy that they joined them and suddenly the police come and he comes back with 2 stars lights, and by chance he sees 2 stars Mary, who is Max's friend. They run away, followed by the police but they managed to escape from them. I thanked Mary with 2 stars for the party and went away. With 2 stars, he returns home and does not find his grandmother. He goes looking for her until he finds her in the middle of the cars. He takes her to the hospital and discovers that she has had Alzheimer's for 4 years. He convinces the doctor to leave his grandmother in the hospital because she needs a special operation and has to leave her there and returns home sad and in the metro he meets Max with the news that his grandmother you will be fine and convince 2 stars to go home with him, because they have a common point and that is their love for MRX and to agree to deal with anyone who should meet 3 basic conditions. The first is that a goal must be impossible. The second rule is that your enjoyment should not be in the virtual world only and the third rule is to be sure that there is no 100% security system. Max was found in a garbage bin with a bill for a restaurant. They entered the restaurant and told the worker that he would take 2 pieces more than the bill and unite with great accuracy. His eyes are drawn to Max who is self-confident, unlike the 2 stars who are very cowardly. Benjamil and Max walk until they reach a garage and meet with Paul and Stefan and steal a car and be worried about 2 stars because they stole. They all move in the car until they reach a conference room and the task is to hack the United device in the name of the state of Denmark and the 2 people who will perform the task are Stefan and Najma who is very worried. Stefan enters with a forged card, and the guard does not want to enter with 2 stars because he does not have a card. Someone sees him even if he reaches the device and hacks it and one of the workers sees it. But with 2 stars he finished hacking the device and goes out running with Stefan and they all sit in the car watching what happens and the Danish challenger shows work on the screen that is supposed to be useful things for the German people and suddenly appears a sexual video offensive to Hitler and gets angry the audience who is in the hall and insults the United Nations in the name of Denmark. And in the car, Paul, Stefan and Max are happy with what happened, and suddenly the people in the hall come out after they are exposed. They are the reason, and before they get into the car, Max moves quickly and runs away. With 2 stars, the investigator continues his story and tells her that this was the beginning of a group called Clowns, and he tells her that the clown wears a mask and at the same time enjoys the things he does, infiltrate groups of large companies, and they do pranks for them to show the world their true image, like they lie to a pharmaceutical company that it kills animals, and this is to deliver them the truth to the world, and he tells 2 stars that Max is always not satisfied with what they do and he wants more difficult goals in order to attract the attention of his role model MRX. Who when he knew the group of clowns laughed at him because they looked like they didn't know anything and Max was very impressed with him, And we go to the investigator who is sitting with 2 stars in the police station whose name is Han. She is an investigator specializing in cybercrime and is charged with arresting a group similar to a group of clowns and their name is Friends. For this, Han is assigned the task of uncovering a group of clowns, and 2 stars reveal to the investigator that they were able to hack a program for competitions by allowing the program they just receive and win Porsche cars, and Paul is worried because he thinks that their issue may be revealed through theft of the car and their lives will turn into parties and hacking programs. And one day Max says for 2 stars, he is a cowardly person who stands behind anyone and does not have any voice or identity and is influenced by 2 stars with his words. He decides to confess to Marie his love for her and tries to be brave like Max and goes to Maui's workplace and decides to accept her, but it was not in the appropriate way for Mary and they curse and leave and go and come down with 2 stars from the car was in order to apologize to her. But he meets with her friend and they hurt him and tells him to stay away from Mary and he could not beat him with 2 stars. He was completed with 2 stars to Detective Han that since that moment he confirmed that nothing has changed and that he is a coward. And one day he met 2 stars that MRX sent them a message which is it is a leak from the police investigations about them, and the report is that they are still young people who have not yet reached the level of a group of friends, and MRX sends them the report in order to laugh at them and reduce their value, and Max gets angry and decides to do something bigger than they did MRX personally. 2 stars suggest that you hack the secret intelligence service himself and the group admired the idea and decided to implement it. They infiltrated the building at night, and it was a 2-star task, penetrating the communication and printing system, and Stefan's task, disabling the cameras and Paul disconnecting the electricity from the place. At night they are done and gone. Then the group goes to celebrate 2 stars, Mary, while she dances with her friend. He is surprised by 2 stars and goes and does not want 2 stars to open the door to any one of the group and insults Max and tells him that there is nothing without them, and with 2 stars he appears exactly the opposite and it turns out that he is the smartest among them because when he was in the intelligence center he found very dangerous information which is the names of all the secret agents who work I have intelligence and he decides to send it to MRX to prove his abilities. On the second day, the group comes to a house with 2 stars to reconcile with him, but 2 stars quarrel with Max and he is accused that he likes to manipulate people. Max apologizes to him and confesses to him that he betrayed him. With 2 stars, he was with the secret agents who revealed their names to MRX, and he was working for the intelligence to reveal the truth about MRX, and 2 stars were harassed by what he did. In killing a secret agent from her, he continues with 2 stars to Detective Han that he then decided to surrender MRX himself so that he is not on the wanted list or be the reason for killing Krypton. She asks them to the investigator how he will hack the MRX device, which is considered the most dangerous hacker in the world. They gained the trust of MRX and asked him to join the group of friends. And MRX decided to assign them another mission, but at the European police station, and their mission would be to deliver MRX to the main server of the center. And then the MRX center would be open to them and they could discover his true identity and complete with 2 stars that they decided to get rid of all the evidence in the house and burn the house itself when they carry out the operation to penetrate the European police station. 2 stars and his group are days searching for a way to infiltrate the place. And one time, with 2 stars, a girl comes out of the center and drops her card, which is a visiting card, so he takes her with 2 stars and hides it from the rest of the group. Until they are on the wanted list, he decides to do the task himself and remembers with 2 stars Max's talk about human engineering and racism that depends on their cosmetic boxes, which are confidence and boldness. The guard is afraid that a father will beat him and he will be beaten in the face and in the end he can convince him and let him enter. The plan is to install a device in the hardware hall, and the device will have the ability to read any file on any device when it connects to the network. The European police server is ready for MRX when it connects and also the server hacks its device, but MRX refuses to connect and reveals a 2-star plan and can photograph it and locate it and sell there are people to kill him. But with 2 stars he can escape from them, and with 2 stars, they talk to Detective Han and he says to her while he is sad that MRX won the game and made him lose everything, and we return to the first scene in the movie with 2 stars. He meets Detective Han and tells her that he is ready to hand her MRX, but in exchange for a new identity, he enters the witness protection program. His plan is to reveal MRX again, but this time he has nothing to lose and in retaliation for his friends who were killed. 2 stars are able to impersonate MRX and send a message to all hackers in his name. He says rumors about him as he is cooperating with the intelligence and reveals their identity to them. 2 stars intend to injure MRX's pride. MRX has a trap, he can reveal a 2-star identity through it. For as Max told him, he hacked the humans themselves. And we return to Han, who is able to arrest MRX and return to work again and sit with two stars who will enter the witness protection program and take a new identity, but suddenly she sees in his hand the same wound that was in Max's hand and doubts the story he told her. She decides to verify his story for herself. She goes to Mary and asks her if she sees two stars soon, and Mary does not remember him and thank you more Han, and goes to his grandmother's doctor and tells her about a disease with two stars and that his mother, who suffered from it and committed suicide because of it, asks Han the doctor if the disease is seen, and he tells her that he sees me, and Han goes to the room in which he lived with two stars. She finds one box of steroids, which should be more if there is more than one person in the house, and Han makes sure that Benjamin is mentally ill and decides to tell him the truth. Two stars are surprised and starts screaming and crying, and she tells Detective Han that she will not be able to enter him into the witness protection program and tells her that a group friends will kill him as you killed his friends. And Han gets confused and thinks to help him in any way and let him hack the police server and enters himself in the witness protection program and is able to take a new identity for himself. And Han takes him to the port to travel and start his life again, and in the last scene we discover that friends with two stars Max, Paul and Stefan are still alive. And all this was from their planning after MRX revealed their identities and knew their plans, and we also discover that two stars were able to deceive Han and make her believe that he is a psychopath like his mother, in order to make him hack the witness protection program himself. And each one takes a new identity for his friends, and Mary is also a participant in the plan, which is already his girlfriend, and they all travel to start a new life away from piracy. This was our film for today. The movie is in the comments because I read them all.